Hello and welcome to the Board of Commissioners meeting for May 20th, 2013. Before we start, I would just like to make the announcement that at the end, under old business, towards the end of our agenda, we're going to have a short presentation on our home rule charter proposed changes that will be on the ballot tomorrow. All Township residents should have received a mailing explaining what those changes are. And for those who are voting tomorrow and want a little bit more enlightenment about the whole process and what we are voting on, we'll have a very short PowerPoint at the end of the meeting during old business to go over that. Now I'd like to call any public participation for any of you residents who would like to make a public comment but can't stay through the meeting. Seeing none, I'm going to... Oh, come on up.
Hello, good evening. My name is Jill Huntelman, and I have with me Abigail Adams. And we are here on behalf of the 4th of July Parade Committee. And just in full disclosure, my husband is John Fisher, Commissioner of the 7th Ward. Thank you very much. We just wanted to bring awareness to the parade. Again, this is the 4th of July parade that will be held on Thursday, July 4th in the Garrett Hill, Rosemont section of Radnor Township. This is the 64th year of the parade. At the parade, it's just a great time. We have a lot of participation in the parade from local community, followed by food, which is hot dogs and soda, and a lot of activities, including with participation from the Bryn Mawr Rotary Club, as well as this year we have Jungle John's man-eating balloon show. So please, everyone, come. The parade committee has been meeting since January of this year. We're on target to deliver a great event. We've kept our eye on expenses each year and also on fundraising initiatives. We've increased our mailing list. We are doing door-to-door donations on Tuesday and Wednesday after Memorial Day in concert with the Bryn Mawr Fire Company. And this year we have something new. We are doing a beef and beer fundraiser at Flippin' Bailey's on Saturday, June 1st from 4 to 7 p.m. And it's for all ages, adults, kids, family. It's really meant to be a fundraiser to bring awareness about the parade and also hopefully to raise some additional funds. In addition, we'd just like to thank the Township in advance for supporting the parade again this year. It's always very welcome, and we'd like to invite any of the commissioners or Township staff to participate in our dunk tank, which is a great time, if any of you would like to do that. Finally, there is a website that we have created at www.garretthillpa.com for more information about the parade or to volunteer. We're always looking for additional volunteers. But please, everyone, come out to the parade. We're looking forward to seeing you. We do have information about the beef and beer and the schedule of events that we'd like to pass out to each commissioner.
Great. Thank you, Jill, and thank you for all of the work that your organization does in putting this parade together. It really is a slice of Americana going to that parade every year, and I really enjoy it. I will be attending and marching.
Great.
I will not be in the dunk tank for you.
I will volunteer again this year for the tank, as long as the chief does it with me. No? Okay, how about Bill?
The superintendent has volunteered again, so he's signed up for that again. So I want to thank the superintendent for volunteering.
One request that you don't use wastewater in the tank again like you did last year. Yes.
We're working on getting nice, clean water. Thank you. Good.
Okay, while that's being passed around, is there any other public comment? Okay, we did not have an executive session tonight, so I will not be announcing that. Next, I would like someone to make a motion for the approval of our minutes for January 28th, 2013.
So move.
Any second? Or is there any commissioner comment on those minutes? Thank you. Any staff comment or public comment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Give him the hat.
Any opposed? Passes 7-0, and the minutes are approved. Next, we have a very nice event tonight. You can see that the room is full, and this is because, as many of you know, as everyone knows, several months ago we had a very close call with one of our officers, Anthony Radico. And if it weren't for the cool heads and quick thinking and skill of many people, We might have lost him, and we are so grateful to have him still with us. And tonight we want to recognize the many people who participated in some way in keeping Officer Radico with us. So I'm going to ask Superintendent Colarulo to organize us, and we're going to come up and give some certificates to all of these very important people.
First, I would like to have Officer Radico and his immediate family go up. And Anthony, if you could stand in the front of the podium facing the audience. And there are a number of people we'd like to recognize, the individuals that were responsible for helping Anthony that night, whether it's the officers or the EMTs, starting out with Superintendent Michael Chitwood and his people. All of those individuals that were involved, we would ask you to come up and flank Anthony and his family so Madam President can make the presentations. I'd like the hospital staff to come up as well.
All the medics, all the people involved, if you could please come forward. All the nurses, all the hospital care workers.
Ms. Beal, are you here too? Oh, okay, there she goes. All right. Probably getting tired of this, aren't you?
You can come over to this side. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read a statement that kind of describes who we're thanking tonight and what we're talking about, and then Superintendent Colarulo is going to go ahead and hand out certificates to all of these fine people who did us such a big favor. On February 24th, 2013, Radnor Township Police Officer Anthony Radico was off duty and exercising at a fitness facility in Upper Darby. A short time later, he became ill. He suffered a severe heart attack, and he went into sudden cardiac arrest. We are forever thankful for the quick, life-saving response of Amanda Beal, to my left in green, who performed CPR on Officer Radico after calling 911. It is because of her unselfish actions, along with the assistance from several other organizations, that Officer Radico is here with us today. We are also thankful to the Upper Darby Police Superintendent Michael Chitwood, who is holding up the side on the left, Officer John Brennan, Officer Thomas Gardner, and Officer Kelly Cease for their assistance as well. From Delaware County Memorial Hospital, we would like to thank the paramedics, Eugene Egan, Alan Burke, William Elder, Edward Urbanski, Lisa Dolan, and Jeffrey Foltz. From Delaware County Memorial Hospital, we would also like to thank Ann Ralph, who is the nursing director of the Emergency Room Services, and for all of her medical staff. And finally, from Penn Presbyterian Medical Center, James Bellinghoff from the CCU unit, and for all of the medical staff there. Now we're going to go ahead and hand these out. And
once everyone gets their plaque, Anthony indicated that he would like to just say a few words, and I think it's a testimonial to how quickly he's recovering. And a couple of days after, he was in a drug-induced coma for a while, and as soon as he got out of his coma and I went to visit him, he said to me, "Chief, I'm coming back to work." And I think that was remarkable that he said that. And every day I say to him, "When are you coming back, Anthony?" And he says, "As soon as possible," and we can't wait for him to return. So We also have something for Anthony's wife, who endured a lot of stress, a lot of worry. Anthony's also here with his son, and now I'm going to turn the mic over to you, Officer Radico.
All right, well, this is the first time I'm actually seeing most of the first responders, which is pretty incredible. You know, this is what they do for a living, but they obviously put their heart and soul into it. So I have to thank Amanda for making me last until they could get to me, and thank everyone else for doing what they did. Superintendent Colarulo, Township Manager Zinkowski, the rest of the officers at Radnor, 2 lieutenants. The support the fellow officers have shown myself, my family, has been second to none. They're fantastic. People see it, they realize it. It's made it so much easier. Even on my wife when I was out of it, it's just been fantastic. My son Robert, it's been incredible. This whole time you try to think of what to say given the opportunity. You still don't know. You're still trying to process everything. Like I said to a couple of people, it's good to be seen. Everybody says it's good to see you standing. I said, and it's good to be seen, that's for sure. I'm told I put up a little bit of a fight at different times, so I apologize for that. I'll try to work on that. But thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. And the Township for being behind me. When I woke up at Penn Presbyterian, there was a poster of there were stickers all over, AR-92, and there was a basketball game, and they did for me, and the prayers and thoughts have just been incredible. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, we are thrilled to have Officer Radico back, and we have all of you to thank for it. So thank you again. Okay, next we have our departmental reports. And can I have a motion to accept the department reports?
Will they be accepted?
Anyone want a second?
Second.
Who's second? Raise your hand.
John Nagel. Are there any commissioner comments on the departmental reports?
Hey, we'll be out of here in a minute.
Take a breather.
Yeah, it was a lot more festive with all of them in the room. This is sort of grim, huh? All right, it's been a motion to accept our department reports has been moved and seconded. Any commissioner comment? Any staff comment or public comment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 7-0. Next, we move on to our committee. I'm sorry, 6-0, with Jim Higgins absent. And let me amend my earlier statement. The minutes were approved 6-0, with Jim Higgins absent. On to our committee reports, Parks and Recreation, with John Nagel.
In front of us tonight, we have a motion. I will move to authorize Radnor Day Camp, I suppose that's supposed to be, scholarships, awards. This is the first round of submissions. Tammy, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, John, I don't.
Second.
Any commissioner comment?
Yeah, can you just briefly tell us the criteria and then tell us how much this costs?
Some of the criteria that we take a look at are things like the annual household income, as well as any type of assistance programs that are received by the family, such as food stamp programs, free lunch programs, things like that, which we ask them to provide criteria-based letters to discuss those things and show that information to us. This year, we do have a $400 increase to the value of what the scholarship program is worth, so that is a $400 increase from last year's base that was awarded. And overall, the numbers right now in terms of registration for the camp are on par, so we would anticipate, if we look at the total value of what the per camper cost would be at the camp, if we stay on pace with the registration, it would be very similar to what it's been in the past 2 years.
And Tammy, as a matter of policy, we cover their tuition, but we don't cover the field trips and whatnot?
The field trips and any of the special event extra costs like special lunch days and things like that that occur at the camp, weekly trips, they aren't covered as part of that, no.
They
But
are?
The tuition,
Okay,
they are
good.
not.
Oh, they are not
covered as part of
I
that.
mean, when I saw that, I thought, it seems like it's a pretty small incremental cost for us. And probably if these families are in the category to be receiving the type of aid they're receiving, even those small costs might be difficult for them. So I would just put out there that I would be willing to consider waiving those costs as well. For us, it would be very almost negligible, those costs.
The process has been that they just never have been covered with the
Have
costs.
you ever had any pushback or
We have
difficulty?
not. However, in past years, there has been a different way we've charged for the additional costs for the lunch days and for the weekly trips. We are under a new process this year where we've given the option that folks can sign up for the camp, and it's a total all-in cost to participate in those extras, or they can pay just the base tuition cost. In years past, they could pay on a weekly basis. They could submit a check, they could submit cash, and those kinds of things. And I think in just trying to restrict the cash flow that's coming in and out at the camp,
Right.
we put it as an all-in cost that they could pay at the beginning of the camp prior. But we certainly can consider that.
Okay.
Tammy, are there full-paying people who don't go on the trips? Or are these children who are getting the scholarships being excluded? Are they the only kids not being able to go on a trip? That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Are they excluded? Well, they're eligible to stay back at camp.
But are they the only kids who are staying back? Is everybody else going?
Not everyone elects to go on the trips,
So
no.
certain kids opt not to go?
Many kids opt not to.
And I'd mention further that the full value of this round is $18,500, $18,350.
Okay, John, did you move that?
I did move that.
Did anyone second?
Second.
All right, any other commissioner comment? Any more staff comment? Public comment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes, any opposed? Passes 6-0. On to public safety with Commissioner Spingler.
Yes, I'd like to move the introduction of an ordinance updating and codifying Chapter 270 Vehicle and Traffic Section 57 parking meter zones established of the Code of the Township of Radnor. And Chief, is this all our parking meters we're motioning here?
Yes, Commissioner. This ordinance amendment lengthens the parking times from 15 minutes to 30 minutes on 11 meters in the South Wayne Avenue area and West Wayne Avenue area. There's also an addition of 5 meters along the south side of Lancaster Avenue with 15-minute time limits. These changes were recommended for approval by the Staff Traffic Committee after receiving requests from the Wayne businesses.
Okay. So I made the motion.
Second.
Any commissioner comment? Staff comment?
Yes, sorry. On the one change on the South Lancaster Avenue, you have the fee as 1 quarter per 30 minutes, but then the limitation is 15 minutes. In other areas, we have the quarter being 15 minutes and the limitation being 15 minutes. It does seem to be something that didn't match up there in my review of the ordinance. That I thought maybe, I don't know if it's an oversight on our part or there's a reason for that.
What you point out makes sense. You can't charge somebody 30 minutes and not give them a ticket after 15.
It seems a little unfair to say, well, if you can sneak in the extra 15 minutes, we won't charge you for that. So,
Chris? Any comment?
Peter, what page was that on?
It's on page
that was on
2.
the second page, right in the middle, Lancaster Avenue South.
Quarter per 30 minutes, but 15-minute sign, so that should be a quarter for 15 minutes?
Or it should just be a 2-hour limit like the others. I think it's probably 2-hour limit.
That's the way we'll go with it then,
Yeah.
Madam President.
Okay.
That's the change
So
we'll
it's
make.
just a typo then? Is
That's correct. We'll make that change accordingly.
Commissioner, if I may, we were leaving it at the original cost. The changes to 30 minutes are in reference to multiple complaints at the Wayne Post Office. Right. So trying to meet the customer's needs, we felt that we would up the time, and it's basically because there's a significant backlog at that, and they were getting citations and getting very frustrated.
Yeah, we're talking about Lancaster Avenue.
Right, and I apologize, and those we can adjust either way depending on what is decided, and that's just for the new businesses there for the quick turnaround.
So what's the recommendation, to adjust the time limit to 30 minutes or to adjust the 1 U.S. quarter for 15 minutes?
Those meters are going to go to 15. Right now, they're up to the 2 hours, and the businesses are requesting us to back it down so they can have a quicker turnaround time.
And you can only put a quarter in, right?
That's correct.
So we should change a quarter per 15 minutes, is what it should say. Yes. All right? Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, with that change?
No?
What we'll do is we'll hold this one and we'll discuss it at the next meeting. We'll hold this one back.
Oh, okay.
Hold this one
The
item?
whole thing
or
or
the
just
whole
this
thing?
one item?
Just hold the whole item up.
Okay, all right.
Can you tell us why, Bob? It seems very straightforward to me.
Yeah,
First of all,
like to
Bob,
discuss this
it's
a
an
little bit further.
introduction.
That's correct.
So why not introduce it and we can make that change? I mean, this isn't
As long
earth-shattering.
as
Peter's
our
okay with it?
solicitor says it's not a major change, then I guess we can still introduce that.
But we're still going to advertise it for the meeting where it's, that's all that matters. So, yeah, I'm fine making the change after the introduction as long as it's the correct ordinance is the one that's advertised when you consider it for adoption.
Okay. Fine.
Okay.
Bob, why do you think it's problematic? I saw it as rather
I'd
straightforward.
like to discuss with the police department on that.
Okay.
All right, so it's been moved. I don't know if it's been seconded, has it?
John Nagel seconded?
Yeah, I seconded it and we changed.
We didn't change anything.
We didn't change
There's no
anything.
Just introduce it, they're going to change it and advertise it the right way, and
Okay.
Any other staff comment or public comment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 6-0.
And next one is introduction of ordinance 2013, amending section 13026C of chapter 130 of the Code of the Township of Radnor entitled Vehicles and Traffic Code, enacted July 23, 1973, in regards to special purpose parking zones on Brook Street, handicap parking. And this is in front of 718 Brook Street. We're putting in a handicap spot, John?
Yes.
I'll move the approval.
Second.
Any commissioner comment? Staff comment? Public comment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 6-0.
And we're going to introduce an ordinance amending section 13025B of the Code of the Township of Radnor, the Vehicle and Traffic Code, which was really enacted by ordinance 1986-37, dated September 8, 1986, in regard to prohibited parking at specific hours on Pennsylvania Avenue. And I guess we're changing those hours from 8 to noon to 8 to 6.
That's correct, Commissioner.
And I'll move the introduction.
Kevin Higgins seconding. Any commissioner comment? Staff comment? Public comment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 6-0.
That's it on public safety.
Next, we have Finance and Audit with Commissioner Kevin Higgins.
First item on the agenda is the disbursement acceptance approval of 2013-5B in the amount of $1,242,831.25, and these are within the budgetary limits and have been approved by the various departments and finance. So I make a motion to approve.
Second?
Any commissioner comment? Any staff comment or public comment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 6-0.
Next item on the agenda is Resolution 2013-76, authorizing the township to create a trail grant special revenue fund. We received a grant for $45,000, and as a requirement of that grant, we were required to set this up. Bill, is there anything more I need to say on that?
No, that's basically, other than the fact that it's actually two $45,000 grants for a total of 90.
Okay, so I make a motion to approve Resolution 2013-76.
Second?
Any commissioner comment? I have just a quick question. So once that's set up, expenditures that go towards that project would come directly out of that fund or out of our general, and we would replenish?
I believe one of the grants, we received the money up front, so we would deposit those proceeds in that fund, and the expenditures will
come right out of it.
I'll come out of it. The second grant is reimbursable, so we'll have to seed it with general fund money initially, and then the expenses will come out of this fund. And then at the end of it, we'll just, as we get the proceeds from the grant, we'll reimburse the general fund. So at the end of the...
So will we be making one big lump up payment of $45,000 into this? Or will we do it kind of, as the expenses come?
Yeah, since it's only $45,000, I would guess that we're going to do the $45,000 all up front.
Okay. And that'll be in next year's budget or this?
We'll do that this year.
This year.
Yeah, because the activity's starting right now. So 100%, every single expenditure associated with these two grants will come out of this fund. It's just how we get the $90,000 into it. For one grant, we'll get the money up front from the granting agency. The other one we'll get from the general fund and pay ourselves back as the grant proceeds come in.
Okay. Any other commissioner comment or questions? Any staff comment? Any public comment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Next, Public Works and Engineering Commissioner Jim Higgins is not here, and there's nothing on the agenda. Personnel and Administration, do you have anything, Commissioner Fisher? Community Development, do you have anything, Commissioner Curley? Library, Commissioner Higgins is not here, and there's nothing on the agenda. Public Health, Commissioner Nagel?
Yeah, tonight at the Public Health meeting that preceded this meeting, we had representatives here from Mainline Health and also the many of the doctors and several nurses from Bryn Mawr Hospital were here to discuss this issue that we had talked about at the last meeting with the discussion about the cardiothoracic surgery possibly being moved from Bryn Mawr Hospital to Lankenau. Apparently that's a financial decision, and what we heard tonight were I'll call it the debate between the management and the staff, being the medical personnel, about why it's good and bad. I suggested to the Board of Health that at their next meeting, and we need to advertise this, that they solicit public input, because that's really what we care about, is what the public feels about this potential move. And that's the appropriate thing for us to be feeding back to Bryn Mawr or to Mainline Health Systems.
So I got an email saying that they weren't going to move, but that's still up in the air.
What they said is it's one of the things that's under investigation as part of their planning efforts.
But it's not happening in the next year, or is it long range?
They did not give any deadlines. They did not put any time certain on it, just that it was one of the things that they were working on.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. Well, that concludes all of our committee reports. Now we will move on to old business, and I believe we have a presentation by our manager, Mr. Zinkowski, about our home rule charter changes.
Sure. Just before we go into that, there was a question I know Commissioner Fisher and the board wanted to in regards to the beautification project on Conestoga Road. We are going to send a letter out tomorrow requesting an additional extension. We're going to accompany photographs too, as well as that extension, to show the amount of work that's being done by PICO in that area, as well as SEPTA, which would be impossible for any work to be done at that time, given some of the towers that are being disassembled or laying there. And this has been ongoing for at least the last year and a half or so. So this will, we feel confident that we should be considered for that additional grant until that work is done. Then also we hope to partner with PICO and SEPTA on the restoration of the entire area. So that will go off tomorrow then.
Thanks, Bob.
Sure. On the Charter Review Committee, I know there's been some questions that have come up. Just wanted to kind of step through where we are, where we've been at. On the Charter Review Committee, they had met approximately 22 times, starting in May of 2011 all the way up to May of 2012, almost 1 year that they've done a lot of work on this. So there's been a lot of public input. All these have been televised on TV. All their work has been put up onto the website as well, has been maintained. The committee did a tremendous job working on this, putting a lot of time in, getting a lot of input. I know there were residents that had come up, gave input. Previous elected officials had came and chimed in certain areas of why things sat the way they are within the charter. I know the finance director, myself, the treasurer, also attended these meetings, as well as commissioners too, to get their feedback and input. So there were a lot of those meetings that had taken place, as well as with the Board of Commissioners, the number of meetings that the board has had to listen to a lot of these items and recommendations had gone through this. So you can see here the board had met a number of times going through and looking at this and narrowing this down as well, in which a mailer was sent out, which was sent out through my office, in which we kind of detailed briefly of what the items were, what the changes were. The approximate cost to put this mailing together was a little over $3,000. If we went through and tried to mail out the full packet, which was the recommendation from the Charter Review Committee, I'm sure we'd probably double or triple that cost. So we wanted to put something out to be able to cover that as well. And then such as the media outlets as well. We've posted everything to the website as well, circulated through the Township e-newsletter, the media outlets, just for some of the examples we have here, through the Patch, through the Mainline Media News, the Delco Times, in which these were all covered. So a lot of information has been out there for residents to look at. Jennifer today actually put some information together, which will be going out to the polls. That will actually have this letter, the ballot questions, as well as 2 copies of each of the reports that were done by the Charter Review Commission. So if residents have questions when they go to the polls, they'll be able to review the detailed information of this as well. And I know that this was a recommendation also too from some of the commissioners that thought this would be helpful to be able to put this out. So this has been a lengthy process that the Charter Review Commission had gone through here, as well as the staff and the Board of Commissioners are reviewing all of this. And it comes up to 4 issues that will be placed on the ballot. They'll be in front of the residents tomorrow.
Thank you. And thank you also to the group, the committee that we appointed to come up with these changes or recommended changes, because they did an enormous amount of thoughtful analysis of what was in there, what needed to be changed, and the product that they came up with was very well thought out, and I think we were all quite comfortable with where it all ended up and what's on the ballot on Tuesday, tomorrow. All right, is there any other comments on that? No? Does anyone have any new business?
Yeah, Bob, I meant to mention to you, since we have a short meeting, I'll just mention it to you now. I got a couple complaints about people knocking on doors at 8:45 when it's dark, scaring people, and maybe we ought to look at that and get that. Pardon me? Yeah, my mic's on. Maybe we get it down to 7:30 or 8 o'clock. In the summer, 8:45 it might still be light, but when it gets dark at 5 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 8:45, 8:30, it's a little late to be knocking on doors. So maybe we ought to revisit that, talk to the police department, and maybe we come up with a time that is acceptable legally, and that we can get it down as low as we can.
Okay.
This is solicitors or?
Everybody has a permit to knock on a door. They knock on a door. A woman 3 weeks ago on North Wayne Avenue, her husband wasn't home. Somebody knocked on the door at 10 of 8. 10 of 9, and she was, and of course when she later discussed it with the police department, they said, hey, just call us right away and we'll come out. But it's a little late, after 8 o'clock to be knocking on doors, especially when it's dark. So, I know we're restricted legally what we can do under the law, but I'd like to see us look at it, maybe get it down as low as we can get it.
We can do that. I'll work with the police department, also the solicitor, to see what we could do to address that.
Thank you.
Any other new business?
Madam President, if
Yes.
I may, since I know we're running short for just a few minutes, if we may. Just put together some information to be able to look at, which I think goes back to the Board of Commissioners and the efforts you've put forward, and the directive that I know that you've given to myself, starting here, into all the staff as well, that talks about the efforts that the Board of Commissioners have done when looking at the employee count, What we'll do is we'll get that up on the screen if Jim can. That talks about where we were sitting back in 2006 with the number of full-time employees, which were sitting at 155. Today we look at, in 2013, 122, and that includes the 8 full-time police officers. So there has been a process that this board has been taking place to look at staffing to fill these positions through attrition, that this continues on a downward trend here, knowing the obligations that the township has. And this is something that the commissioners, I know you've set a pretty clear course for us and a directive to try to do this. And this also gives a lot of, I think, credit and compliments our staff for the hard work that they've done, that they've taken on these additional duties as staff has shrunk and continue to provide some excellent services to the residents. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to bring this up, as well as one of the other critical items that the Commissioner's spoken about is our audit that has taken place. And when you look in 2008 with the comments from the audit, we have 12 in 2008 material, 4 significant, 18 other, with a total of 34. I know coming in here in 2010, it was very clear from the entire Board of Commissioners this is something that was not acceptable, that had to be corrected. Starting from the Commissioners and your directive from the CB-FAC that first looked at these, to a lot of the credit, I think, goes to Bill White and the Finance Department staff, as well as all the department heads, for their efforts to make sure we're following process, to where the 2012 audit will show that we are down now to only 4, and those are other comments, so the material and significant have been eliminated. CARFAC has played a big role in that, and I know the board, through your wisdom to establish that group, is paying huge dividends. And I think this speaks volumes to this Board of Commissioners, to the CARFAC group, to our Finance Department and the department heads for their hard work and efforts to make sure that processes are followed. And it shows the change and the significant difference here that's been made, which is huge. As part of this, too, whether the public knows as well, one of the audit standards have changed, too, where the auditors now meet with CARFAC, meet with the citizens to review the audit outside of staff. The auditors meet with the commissioners outside of staff for CARFAC. So again, there's an opportunity where if there's questions that the Board of Commissioners have, if our citizens group CARFAC has questions, they can meet independently with the auditors so they could raise questions all outside of staff. So again, these are another additional layer and measures that the board has put in place to protect the integrity of this community. And again, just want to be able to demonstrate this, that, you know, a lot of times, I know you don't receive a lot of compliments or comments, but this is one that the directives that you've given to us that we follow, we take these seriously. And it is shown that through these efforts of putting things in place with our Finance Department staff, with our CARFAC, with them working through this, and they've done a tremendous job of working to help resolve a lot of these issues. It's gone a long way. And again, I just want to recognize Bill White, too, as well, taking a leadership role in this, and to all the department heads for all their hard work. Thank you.
Bob or Bill, just a quick question. I don't have the report of 2012, even the historical. And I remember there were a handful that were almost what I would describe as unsolvable because of the nature of the size of our staff. Are these 4 that are sitting out there something that we can actually solve in the next year? Or are they really, you know, something that's a function of not having enough segregation of duties because we don't have enough people on staff?
No, we were able to solve some of the ones that we initially thought were going to be difficult because of the size of the staff, and that's really where CARFAC comes in, and they were instrumental in taking a look at the organization within the department. And as part of the reorganization that the township did administratively in 11, it allowed for the Finance Department to establish enough positions to segregate those duties. So the ones that we were concerned about not being able to do because of staff size, we actually were able to achieve, and that was a material comment. So that was one of the major priorities. These 4 here are things that are more labor-intensive, time-intensive policies, and dealing with capitalization and going around and inventorying capital assets throughout the township, making sure there's a financial system behind it to track it, as well as some IT and some disaster recovery and insurance-related policies. So these are the ones that we should be able to correct moving forward.
Correct when?
We have not put the timetable together as to when we'll correct them, but they should be things that we are able to correct.
Okay.
Thank you, Bob, for bringing out those improvements. It's nice to call out when we're doing a good job, and when there's good news. So often we gloss over the good news and focus on the bad. So thank you for doing that. If there's no other new business, I will go ahead and call public participation, if anyone would like to come up and comment. All two of you?
Move we adjourn?
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.